So we join back in with our adventures after last part. They had managed to subdue and do quite well in actually incapacitating 4 out of the 5 infected, corrupted civilians that had burst out of their hiding holes to see who was disturbing their sanctum. And after taking a rest and some time to clear the rooms of any corruption, the most difficult one, I feel, was the plant one, with a bit of door opening and fire inwards, and then close door again and give it a minute. But we join now as the rooms are clear, except for room 7, which is the entire hour and a half or so it's taken them to sort of finish off clearing any of the corrupted rooms. This constant sort of sliding and almost like something dragging through the mud.
Okay. I think again we have to do that whole setup right. So we get someone. Does the door open outwards, Liam, or inwards?
Inwards.
Inwards. So we almost need someone to sort of, I don't know, kick it in and step back so we can all just be ready to fire things off if we need to.
I mean, would
Okay.
Gus do it?
Yeah.
Give it a go. Definitely give it a go.
So then we're all kind of backed away from it. And they can do it.
Yeah.
Quite.
It's like I said, that plant one. We opened the door and it went poof in our faces as we sort of opened the door.
Yeah. So how far do you want to be back from the door?
I think a good 20 feet. I would, I think at least sort of middle of the corridor.
I can do like 30 feet, so I'll be like 10 feet behind you and just say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, holding an action, Liam, with my bow just in case anything comes out.
Okay, so Volu, as the wind rushes and hits the door, it bursts open in a way that first of all tells you it wasn't locked or anything like that. But then immediately and it is sliding open, but it's giving you the impression that something is like right behind the door, and the wind is definitely strong enough to push it, but it's almost doing that thing that, like the door, and it's doesn't sound like wood on wood. It almost sounds like a soft thud, like clothes or a piece of furniture or something like that pushed up against the other side of the door. The gust, by the time it ends, the door is probably now open enough for someone like Volu to peek through. Or you definitely think, Volu, that another gust would just push it the rest of the way open. It was moving. It was just impeded by whatever it was.
I'll tell everyone just to stay prepared. It looks blocked and gust again.
Okay, so another gust, and again it but eventually slides open to full, revealing the inside of what looks, again, very, very similar setup to one of the living spaces. However, there looks to have been multiple cave-ins. And there is piles of rubble sort of dotted around the room that you can see. Those with high perceptions, as you can sort of see by the door, you can see that sticking out from the door, but from behind the door, is what looks like a pair of legs. No movement or motion from them, but it looks to be potentially a corpse that was slumped up behind the door that has been sort of slid aside.
Any signs of infection at all, like any purpley, pinky kind of anything that we can see on the corpse?
As you're sort of taking a closer look in, you have to sort of take a step forwards. There's nothing that looks like on the corpse. And as you're looking into the room, there doesn't look like there's any sort of corruption in the vicinity of the door.
Right.
But as you sort of look, you start to hear a soft and the sluting or sliding starts further. But it's coming from a pile of rubble over there that is showing dots and stuff of infection, but you think, Eleni, that there is potentially an infected person under that rubble.
Okay.
And then as you sort of take a look to the left side, the entire back wall is corrupted.
Right.
And in the back left corner, there's been another cave-in that seems to have exposed like a 10-foot crack, and you can see it goes deeper into darkness.
So one side rubble with noises like someone's buried under there. Other side massively infected with a crack down to somewhere. Okay.
We know this infection requires a living host, yes? Once the...
Doesn't require, just seems to prefer.
Prefers it.
And definitely does better in a living host. But it, like I said, in the rooms where there was no living host, it did just seep into the ground and the furniture and everything else.
Okay. Is it that the infection has to take place when it was living, though?
No.
No? Interesting.
No, you've seen corrupted corpses. It just doesn't seem like it's got this far over.
Yeah, no, I'm more just thinking back to like the dead wyverns from the wyvern nest.
True, but they were eaten though. In
Yeah.
terms of the.
Interesting.
True, I don't think they were. Maybe there is something there actually about it, but it might be for Ichi, maybe something to do with undeath as opposed to.
Yeah.
It's definitely not about inanimate.
No.
Animate, but maybe something in once it's dead, or once it's dead, it's taken by something else.
Interesting. Shall we approach slowly? See about that sound?
The guards will start sort of moving first. As you sort of look in past the door, the body behind the door seems to be a priest of the temple.
Oh.
That had maybe got in this far, been let into the room, and then not made it out. As you can see that and for Eleni, definitely, you think that this tussle would have happened before the later infection stages. It doesn't look like they've been clawed at. It looks like they've been attacked with like a sharp piece of wood. There's something nearby us that, thought the person in the sort of hallucinatory state thought they were being attacked almost.
Yeah. Okay. What do we want to do about this guy in the rubble? Do we want to try and tackle him first and heal him, or leave him where he is? I don't know. Does it even look like he's able to get himself out of the rubble? Is he completely buried?
As you take a look, you sort of get round and you can see that sort of on the north side of the rubble, there's like a full arm sticking out and then like a bit of a hand that's still trying to move. But those wanting to take a look, give me a medicine.
Medicine. I don't know why I rolled on that. That's a 13.
So looking at Eleni, it's going to have to be like immediate heat. Like they look like this rubble's almost like split them.
Oh.
And it, like it pinned
Yeah.
has sort of, and you're thinking, Eleni, that a combination of where it's pinned and then the enhanced durability that the infection and corruption seems to give them seems to be holding them alive now.
Do we think if Dante just sort of slid his sword in between the cracks, it would just kill him? The healing would finish them off?
It's more that the second they heal and become a normal person, they will begin bleeding out rapidly. Because they are literally crushed under this rock. So it's almost like you're going to have to
But we could be ready with a healing potion or something, couldn't we, basically? But I'm thinking while he's already pinned, Dante could effectively just put the sword on him, and let that touch him. And then we could try and either cast a healing spell through the gap or pour a healing potion in just long enough for us then to clear him out.
You can try that if you want. The guards will a few of the guards will sort of take station. You will notice that since you've entered this room, and obviously for you guys that have sort of interacted with this stuff before, a little bit just like, okay, there's a problem. A few of the guards, and especially a few of the researchers, almost seem like you catch them sort of staring at the cracked crevasse area that's sort of giving off that same eerie vibe that the corruption has in previous times for yourselves.
Right.
But they will get ready, and I think again a few moments of you, Dante will sort of cure the bits of them that are exposed. You can be giving them healing potions as you go. I will say I'll knock off a few from the priests as opposed to using your personal supply, but obviously it will lower the supply in general.
Okay.
And able to get them to a stage where you can slide them out. This room, other than just the sort of living space, does seem to have sort of been maybe a library or other such things, and there are sort of books that are left around. Eleni, just from sort of glancing, there doesn't look to be anything that the books of factualness don't look like stuff you need. It's like how to grow food, how to propagate things underground, and like those sorts of things. But a few of the things that catch your eye are definitely some of the scrawlings. And it's almost like at first they're talking about, whoever was writing in here was writing about the growing of mushrooms and other plants underground and how they can start sort of becoming a bit more sustainable, and every now and again there's like a line of weird like singing noise coming from the back wall, and like, but then it'll sort of continue on, like, and by the sort of third or fifth page it's just constantly writing about this singing. I can't stop the singing. The noise is coming out the back wall. I've moved all the books, and it's constant.
Can I
and
hear?
even
Because obviously we could hear stuff, but can I hear anything now other than the person under the rubble?
no. And as you're sort of looking at some of the last pages, it seems like this person went at the walls with a pickaxe, like
Try
they
and
sort
stop
of
the
talk.
singing.
Well, to find the source of the singing and potentially cause some of the collapse in here through their own digging and manipulation, right? But it definitely seems like something called to him. But you're not hearing anything now. Okay. And actually, as you sort of take a look and you sort of turn, the cavern, crevasse, whatever you want to call it, the crack in the wall, the second it gets out of the main room, it is full corruption.
Right. Similar to that flesh tunnel then?
Similar but different, actually. And as you're looking, Eleni, and I'll say, like, you're not entering, but the like depths of what your dark vision, you don't have dark vision.
I don't have dark vision. Yeah,
you've got torches and things,
whatever.
but
yeah.
If you imagine, it's like looks very natural, earth, rock, and stone, but is corrupted. About 50 foot down, and then it slowly starts to shift. So if you imagine over the course of about 15 foot, slowly turns from natural worked earth rock to worked brick and stone.
Oh.
But corrupted.
I would beckon to Ichi and Volu and Dante, of course, but I'd sort of not to go any closer, but just to be like, come here, look at this, and point out that's more underground ruins.
We had a feeling the network span elsewhere.
Now that you're looking, can everyone give me either a history, a nature, or an arcana?
Okay.
Sure.
5.
21 for nature.
16 for nature.
Okay. I'd say, so Eleni, hard to tell. It does definitely look like that.
Yeah.
For Ichi and for Volu definitely. So for Ichi, there's something off. Whereas, like, so you've seen what the worked stone corrupted looks like, and you've also seen what something created out of corruption looks like. And Volu, for you, definitely the latter. You actually think that this was a natural rock tunnel and the corruption is changing it. And actually, Volu, for you, that rock looks almost identical to the Lyrixon Temple.
Hmm.
I think this is connected to further down. It seems to be almost like maybe it started down there and this is how it got out. Been working its way up. Maybe even below where we were, and it's just slowly crept up until it's found civilization, and that's why the catacombs were such a catalyst for the infection.
Looks like it's coming from within, so it's treating the catacombs almost like the veins of the body kind of vibe.
Yeah.
After maybe about 5 minutes, Harkin would come over and say, okay, the priests and the researchers are going to stay here and make a base of operations. If we need to message, if we need information, if we need things divining and researching on the spots, we can send messages back to them and they will be able to do that for us. Also, if we need healing or you get lost, this is where you return to. Myself and the guards will come in with you and we will do our best to keep you protected. Our mission is only really to scout and gain information. So I will say that while you are leading and giving direction, if I feel that we are putting all of our lives in danger, I will pull rank and end the excursion. You agree to this?
I'm happy for you to be in charge.
As I said, when it comes to the corruption, you definitely know what you are doing, but I don't. They definitely would probably shift the look over to Dante. That has been sort of fairly dog with a bone when it comes to the infection. I don't want us to reach further than we need to.
No, agreed.
They nod. Well, my men are ready to go. Let us know how you wish to set up your proceedings. As we mentioned, shall we go as we had earlier with Eleni and I've forgotten. I've lost her name.
I had it written down as well, and I can't find it.
You had them all.
I had them all written down. I know.
You did. You did.
I'm just rubbish. What can I say?
I found it.
We need to stay in eye contact with each other because last time we were down there, that's when we lost everybody because the room started changing room.
I was going to say Ash, but I knew it wasn't Ash. That was the other. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the order.
Yes, that's stay in line of sight and at least with one other person.
Yeah, I think we almost need to buddy up, don't we? And stay.
That's when Dante was Tenebris, but we weren't aware of it. But he kept running off. And we should have absolutely been aware of it.
But yes, let's sit together, move cautiously.
Yeah. Okay. What order do we want to go in? Does Dante go first because he can at least clear infection? Are we clearing the walls as well as we go? Like, how do we want to?
Well, it's up to you. So again, slow, or
Yeah, I'm sort of. What do you think?
and what I
Each
will say is,
volume,
as Dante will sort of step forwards and will clear some of the infection of the wall, and I think confirming for Volu what you were thinking is when he clears away some of the worked brick, as the infection burns, it shows natural cavern underneath. Making fire it as I go, clear sections, or we take our time.
I think it's probably better to move cautiously here, just because of our numbers as well.
Agreed.
That's fine with me.
I think let's try and clear as we go, if we can clear some of the stuff on the walls as well.
And what I will say, and so Dante sort of maybe says to try, or maybe even one of the priests suggested, because as they've been using the water, is they've been sort of soaking cloths in it and sort of wiping people, washing people with it. I would say that you can expend one of the bottles as opposed to throwing, as to sort of aid and speed up. It gives you another person that is clearing area as opposed to just Dante, if that makes sense.
Hang on, guys.
I don't know whether does Volu or Ichi want to knock off their bottle, or shall Dante, or do you want to save them? It's fine for you to save them for in combat.
I think because we're moving slow, use Dante's fire, save the bottles for combat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or at least a more immediate emergency vibe.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in which case, you begin slowly making your way into the dark, corrupted cavern, clearing sections of the walls and almost peeling back the strange decor that's been grafted on top of the natural cavern by the corruption itself. Each set of stone walls seems to breathe, shifting slightly when you're not watching, or almost feeling like it's watching, peering over your shoulder for a second. And the deeper you go, the more the natural cave blends with the alien architecture. Pillars with weird designs on them and wall facings that are like, if you imagine a mural that's aged with time so you can't read it anymore, but then sort of as Dante's clearing it, it's like, actually that's it. Like it's not a mural that aged. It's like it can't remember what the mural looked like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But it's got the general shapes. And as the sort of jagged rock turns to fully smooth, deliberate arches, spiraling runes and unfamiliar patterns, you enter the first sort of chamber that you enter is and again, I want you to imagine this, it's like all still corrupted and pink and red and this weird sort of oozy texture. But you walk out into almost like a bit of a glade.
Right.
And there are bushes, but like corrupted bushes, maybe about chest height, left and right. And it's almost like you're walking on a pathway through a forest.
Does this look like it's that there were bushes and that there was some kind of underground garden here and then it got planted?
So
or...
as Dante clears, sort of puts a flaming hand through one of the bushes, it entirely dissipates.
So this is bushes created from infection rather than a bush that got infected. Right.
And anyone with higher than 14 perception can give a roll. Higher than 14 passive can give a roll.
Okay, perception.
Not me.
That is 21.
I rolled my passive perception 16.
So I think for Ichi with the 16, as you sort of look left and right, there's something off about it. So firstly, even with the torchlight, there is areas that stay dark, even when you bring the torch up to them. Almost like, and for Ichi, the only times you've ever seen this done is there have been like times that Bruce was talking about how to stealth yourself or how to camouflage, and actually if we paint all of this black, it won't show up as a crevice because it's, you know, got like, or if you want to hide a cave front, you might put a rock in front of it and paint it all black so it just looks like it's a not very deep cave. It's like it's giving you that vibe. That's not actually darkness. That's like the image of darkness. And for Eleni with the 21, it's the same for the ceiling. The trees don't go up to, you don't see the tops of trees. There's almost like the canopy.
Right.
And there are areas of blackness. But again, as you hold up the torchlight, that is, the ceiling is still only about 30 foot up, you think? But it's giving the illusion, like if you weren't holding the torchlight to it, you would think you were under a canopy of trees in the forest. It looks like that. Do you know what I mean? It's filled in the space in between the trees with
still
black.
all pinky purple.
Still all pinky purple. But it's almost like different shades of it. It's like all this, like, what's it, monochrome?
Yeah.
So it's like red, it's like red, pink monochrome.
Yeah.
Shadings.
Yeah.
And it's like trying to almost, like, it's almost like it's trying to create a scene. And as you're sort of moving down in the center of this space, it's hard to tell the exact dimensions of this room because of these weird shifts of shadow. But you're thinking it's maybe about a 30-foot semicircular room, something like that. Okay. Or like oval rather than semicircle, sorry. And as you sort of in the center, and you can see going through that there is more cavern and twists and turns going forwards. But there is a large stone archway with gold, almost like golden veins running up the marble, and light blue runes. And it's the only thing that is legitimately light blue, is the glow of the runes sort of going over this doorway. And
are they dwarvish, Liam? Or something
you would have to get a bit close. You would have to get a bit closer to tell. And the other thing that grabs your attention, especially for Eleni and Anya getting a bit closer, there's almost like a translucent, constant stream of liquid sort of pouring down from the archway. And it, like, for Eleni, and you're sort of like, what do you think that is? For Eleni, it looks like it is just a liquid, but it almost looks like it's trying to replicate what a portal looks like. Do you know, like if you stood on this side looking at a portal that's just sort of like a shimmering image, it looks like it's trying to represent some sort of portal. As if anyone that wants to get a bit closer, and to be clear, the guards are sort of waiting, and Harkin would sort of say, if we are going to, I'm interested how much of it is created. If we are going to clear the bushes, we can simply walk around it, right? The guards sort of stay a little bit back while Dante's clearing things. Anyone wanting to get a bit closer can give me a religion to have a look at the runes.
Yeah, and the archway is definitely stone. It's not been created out of.
Hard to tell until Dante gets close enough to, because again, in my head, Dante's doing it methodically as he moves forward, right? Like, you can tell. By the way, in terms of I'm doing stuff, but tell Dante to do different, and he'll shift up.
I think.
I've checked. I moved forward and checked. I got a dirty 20.
Okay.
Do I need proficiency in religion, Liam, to roll, or can I?
I'd still say you can roll in this situation.
Yeah, I only rolled 10.
I got a 3.
Well, I did roll a 1, but fortunately I can re-roll.
Yeah.
So for Ichi, so for Eleni, you don't recognize them. Definitely not Dwarvish. Definitely not any language, Sylvan, or anything that you can read.
Yeah.
For Ichi, you would recognize Celestial, but it's almost not the exact same, maybe dialect or something like that you have. Because I don't think you can. Can you read Celestial? Is that one of your proficiency languages?
No, I can only read
So it's
Common and
what?
Giant.
So you recognize it from studying angels and other
Yeah.
such things that can come, but you don't know what it says.
I don't read it, no.
For Volu, definitely Celestial, and not that you read Celestial, but it's almost, it's giving you like almost like it's a pushing away door, like it's not, and you don't know how to explain it. Just something as you're looking at it says that like that door would like suck you in and throw you somewhere, as opposed to a portal you just step through nicely. And it gives you the vibe that it was, one, definitely a created portal. Like whatever it's trying to replicate, like this isn't a portal. It doesn't look like a portal. It looks like a stone and water feature made to represent a portal, right? But whatever representation it was trying to copy, you think it was a created portal to expel something.
Mm.
And as Dante gets closer and does start to clear some of the corruption, the archway is the only real thing in here. And as they clear it away, the corrupted, the liquid in the middle that's sort of making the shimmering, it slightly stings Dante as he clears it. And it's almost like literally acidic, as opposed to as he just sort of passes over like he has been doing for everything else. He goes, oh, I thought that one hurt. And I'm sort of like D4 damage. So
Yay, we damaged Dante and he's not even here.
he takes two points of damage. And again, he just has to change to like putting the sword through it instead of just hands, right? But as he clears away the archway, anyone proficient can give me history rolls. I will do Dante's.
That is not my thing at all.
Nope.
Not a historian.
No.
Nope.
There is a actual marble archway set into the stone. Almost the way it merges up out the ground is almost akin to how the buildings are made in Cadfesi. However, whereas the buildings in Cadfesi are like, that was slate ground, we're going to pull this into a slate building. This is like this tree rooted into marble.
If I walk all the way around the arch, is it the same from both sides?
Same from both sides, same glyphs and carvings still in it, still present, just now not glowing. It's like the glowing was the corruption illusion, as opposed to it's now, you're now looking at, and Dante getting a dirty 20 would probably just mutter to himself, 2,000 or 3,000 years old at least.
Can I?
And it's like, imagine like going to Stonehenge now and like looking at that. It looks like that kind of, this was a marble structure built here, but is now in this underground cavern space.
This is sort of cheating a bit, so say if you don't want me to do this. I'm wondering first of all if my moths are bothered by this portal. I'm wondering
I'll be
what
honest,
they're doing.
They are bothered by the whole space.
Yeah.
And it hasn't changed. Like, they're just uncomfortable. They're not
Are
reacting.
they less uncomfortable now Dante's cleared the corruption, or
No.
just the same?
Being down here is not
Okay.
like feels that, and again, for all of you, there is still, you've got used to it as people that have sort of interacted and fought this thing a bit, but there is just a generally fearful, ominous presence from being around this weird, like I said, every now and again when you get comfortable, there's a weird sliding movement or sound behind you that makes you think that something's coming out, and then it's just the wall or whatever.
I've got a real temptation to touch. I know, and I know it's stupid. Now that Dante's apparently healed it, I don't want to step through or anything. I just have this temptation that I just want to just touch. Yeah, screw it. I'm gonna do it.
Okay. You place a hand on the cold
A
stone.
finger.
The finger.
It's just one finger.
Yeah. Nothing seems to happen. As you sort of run the finger maybe along it a little, it definitely is marble. Like it really is smooth, work created. But also you're like, you would agree with Dante. You wouldn't know its exact age, but it's old. It's
What if I touch the portally bit?
nothing happens. Now that he's cleared it, nothing seems to happen.
Does my finger disappear in?
No.
No. So I can see my finger coming out the other side.
Yeah.
Oh,
It seems like, and again for Volu that got quite high, you think this was like the centerpiece to some sort of ritual. It's almost akin, and where Volu is getting a bit of the knowledge is, whereas the material plane tend to use magic circle locked in place, this is what we target. In a lot of the natural and in the other planes, they target these two trees that bend into a door and make the portal. It's like that. This is one doorway that could be accessed or used, but again, from the readings on it, Volu doesn't think stuff comes out this door. Volu thinks only stuff goes in this door. But it is definitely inert right now. And by the time that Dante has cleared the room...
Wasn't that the plan for the infection? Didn't they want to cast it out?
Who?
That was like the...
I mean, originally they...
Well, all the bad guys now.
Well, it was the agreement between the Celestials and the Fae and the Fire Plane. They all wanted to cast out, literally isolate and cast out.
Well, they want to isolate and cast out the whole of Astera. What you did learn was that Lurixa. So what Kanda told you is that the Fae and the factions believe that Lurixa did something that caused the corruption to leak into their worlds.
And this does look Lurixan.
Very much so.
Can I cast... I want to cast Detect Magic using my Firbolg magic, just to see if there's anything either on the arch or on the watery portal or actually in the rest of the room, just to see.
So there is nothing actively running.
Okay.
But as you take a full scan of the room, you're standing on like a 3-point crossover ley line.
Oh.
Dead underneath the archway.
Oh, that's interesting. I would tell the guys that. I mean, ley lines are important to Fae, right, Volu?
And magic, and just in magic in general.
That's very interesting. I wonder where the hell this goes to.
Dante would shrug, a bit, maybe a bit sweating from the exertion of clearing like this large space. Again, as it clears out, you see it's not quite 30 foot, but it's sort of like, from the jagged, it is actually quite jagged, and this space is a cavern. Like you think that it's not like this space was moved or anything. It's almost again
was
like
here like this. It's just
this
then
hit it something else was sort of printed on top of it. But again, the cavern of worked corrupted stone does continue further downwards if you wish to continue following.
Well, I don't think we're going to be activating this portal anytime soon.
No.
Certainly not immediately, but I do think this is really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe let's carry on a little bit. How long have we been at this now, Liam?
You've been traveling for maybe an hour.
Something about we had
I'm
a short
talking,
rest as well, and
oh wait, I was saying about
since
an
we
hour
came into the catacombs.
since you delved into the cavern about an hour. So I'm thinking, no, maybe about 40 minutes when I'm talking like, clear.
Yeah.
No, an hour is about right with all the clearing. So I think since you entered the catacombs,
It was early morning when we did it, but
we're
yeah.
probably talking about 4-5 hours.
Okay.
But obviously 2 of that was resting, so you've maybe only been running for 3.
So we could do another 2 or 3 hours tops before we go. That's it for the day.
Before you need to think about a stop, yeah.
And are the priests and the researchers still with us?
They stayed. They're making a base camp
back,
at the catacombs.
Okay. I think then let's push on a little bit more if people have got the will to do it.
The guards and stuff will nod, and you see that the general mutterings is like, it's weird, but like nothing's attacked us yet. So it doesn't seem.
Somebody
Don't say that
shut
out
that
loud.
person up. Yeah. It's like, what?
Well, it's almost a bit of like for you, and I'd say for those high insights, bit of an anticlimax for them. They got like the catacombs was what they were expecting, like all the way through. You needed a guard escort of of infectable. You know what I mean? Like they were very much and so far for the last hour or so since you entered the deeper sections, you haven't needed them. They've prepped up on a doorway, you've opened it, and then it's just been weird forests made of goo. It's not their forte, so you can definitely sort of see that vibe. However, Harkin will sort of sharpen up and sort of get them back in formation, and you'll continue to move.
Okay.
There's maybe another 10 minutes of winding corridors, and again, 10 minutes in the pace you're moving and clearing everything, clearing the walls off. And you get through to another space that again, it's hard to tell what here is made and what here is over corrupted. But as you enter, for Eleni and Ichi, now that you've seen it, you're not fooled again. The ceiling again is entirely a very, very, very dark pink red to give the illusion like it goes further. And there are 6 massive pillars going up the room, and it's almost like so it's maybe 20 wide, 80 long. And as you're sort of looking, you can see again marble in the exact same style as the Laryxian temples, and other than that, the cavern itself seems almost empty, except for the occasional flash of color that runs through the walls. And Eleni, as one of these happens near you, it's almost like it's showing veins of ore. If you imagine like this,
like in a mine.
Yeah, and as you're looking, it stopped doing the sort of worked stone, and it is now like rock again. But there's almost every now and again like a pulse, and there's a weird discordance between that's the pulse of the corruption. It almost feels heartbeat-like, but also it looks like if you cracked open a vein and you were looking at the vein of whatever it is. And Eleni, I'd say for all of you, and maybe even a guard or two would be like, it looks like Zikar. Been down in the Zikar mines once or twice.
And we know that the infection likes Zikar, right?
Well,
Or
but
that it seemed
there's
to
not.
recognise it, Alar Moonshadow said.
But then the scout will sort of pull out their map. There's no mines over this way though.
Well, not that we know of, but there might have been a long
No,
time ago. Maybe.
not in historical records. We checked. Well, obviously, one of the places the corruption began was the mines. We checked all of those things.
But we've just been through man-made structures. Do you have those in your records?
No, I suppose not. Again, I'd say Dante starts clearing
Yeah.
and finds this seems to be a legitimate mind space. As you clear away the corruption, revealing empty veins, but veins and rock and dirt and earth nonetheless.
Mm.
And as you clear it out more and more, the two marble pillars are also smaller than the corruption now makes them look, but there are 6 pillars almost holding the ceiling up as if this space was cleared and, but again, grown out of the ground, merged to the ceiling and the floor, as if it's like, like it looks like a tree either side, but made of marble and etched in the same celestial style etchings. Volu, as you look at these ones seem more about protecting. It's almost like trying to create a protected space. And again, over the maybe 20 minutes, Dante clears this much smaller space. And it almost gives the vibe of like, the first room you go into at the top of a mine where there's like a table for inspecting the ore and some finer tools for breaking down the larger chunks. And like, it looks like that space.
Mm-hmm.
But anything that should have writing or anything on it, it's copied or completely. It's almost like in the same way as that mural was a copy of something that has the generic shapes on it.
Yeah.
They're all that sort of vibe. There is nothing here still. It's almost like this was packed up and left. By the time he clears everything, some of the tables disintegrate. Some of the, you know what I mean? The actuals, it's like the corruption made it back to what it was. And now once he clears it, you can see that there's a table over there that's broken. And as you're looking around it a little bit, can everyone give me an investigation?
Is it like it's seeing things and like almost like a 3D printer or something? It's like seeing something and then trying to replicate the thing that it sees?
Seems a little bit like it. Not in every case. Like, obviously, this mind space was definitely here.
Yeah.
And that in itself is maybe a bit strange.
Sorry,
But
what did you want as well as a roll?
an investigation, sorry.
Investigations, yeah.
13 for eachy.
Jesus, my rolls have disappeared. 8.
17.
Okay, so for Ichi and Volu, you sort of start digging around some of the things that are actually here, some of the bits of rubble that are actually present. And I think fairly quickly would confirm definitely whatever was being worked on here was Zikar. There are small fragments of dust and chippings left off larger pieces that had been worked on. But also for the size, this wasn't a mine. This was almost like somebody's personal, in the same way as you'd have a garden. It's like, this is somebody's personal thing. There's like, you only find evidence of like, there's not tools and tools and tools. There's not even tools actually as you look around. And when I say no tools, I'm talking no mining tools, no refining tools. You guys have seen in Cadfesi the large refining stations that refine and work on the ore. There's none of that, but there's all the indications of like plotting for ore and finding it, like that sort of vibe. And then again, once again, there's actually off here 2 corridors. One seems to dive and go a bit deeper. But actually, as you're looking at it, and as Dante touches and confirms, it doesn't seem like the infection headed down that way. And actually, sort of looking at the station here, you think maybe sort of an extension, sort of searching for more of whatever was, because this room is definitely tapped of everything. As you saw, there's no ores here that are still accessible. But somebody used up a good chunk. Like, we're talking more than you would need to sort of do a vehicle. That you know, there's not a small quantity of zircarbon used from here. And again, you do think it definitely doesn't look corrupted. Harkin will probably say we could check it, or we leave it and mark it. Eleni and Anya, do you want to head down and no further than we can see?
Can do. Again, yeah, let's head down with Anya.
So if you two sort of go down, and they'll sort of keep you in eye line so that you can see their torch and them, and they can see your torch and you. As you head down, so firstly, Eleni, it's like when you're at the beginning, and obviously you've sort of seen Ichi dig, you've also seen some other sort of animals dig tunnels and other such things. If you imagine, there's almost like curve. You almost can see the segments that were like chopped out next, chopped out next, chopped out next.
Yeah.
You can see that here. It's like, but large, like almost like 15-foot long segments. You think, and it's like, for you that you're looking at it, looks like the Move Earth spell in the same way as like that 5-foot section over there now, but it's just like this 15-foot, 10-foot wide ripped out, and no evidence of rubble or anything, whatever happened to it, but it's like it's just being excavated.
I can see chunks of,
and you're almost able to see the magical paw prints of whoever was digging out this space, right?
Could it have been a golem, like because didn't we see the golem sort of?
The golem like fully punched its way in,
true,
and the bullet was too small to do like a 15 by 10 space.
Okay.
Interesting for Eleni. So the corridor itself, not so interesting. It basically goes about 100 foot down in a straight line downwards.
Okay.
And then ends.
Okay.
What's interesting for Eleni, the chunks, as in like, if you imagine the amount swiped out each time, got less and less and less and less. And by the time you're at the 100-foot, 120-foot end, they are only chopping out human-sized chunks. So you're almost in a 5-foot by 10-foot corridor by the end of it. Whereas at the beginning, they were like, carve out section. And if this was a creature, it got tired. It's like it's struggling by the end.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? It's like, and again, it's weird for Eleni to sort of put it to like, you're thinking about a creature, but a magical, something like it's like it got more tired and more tired and more tired and then gave up. And it just abruptly ends.
Any odd marks? I know we're in ancient and probably no one has been down here in a long time, but any kind of strange marks on the ground, any other disturbance, any sign that anything has been down here recently?
No. And the only thing that is weird is, so in the other sections, it made a little bit of sense. You haven't encountered much dust and debris and other such things, but because it's corrupted, right? So when you cleared it away, it makes sense that the ground underneath the corruption doesn't have a layer of dust on it.
Yeah.
There is no dust down here.
I mean, in the same way, I don't know if you would get dust, but you'd get earth or something.
There's no rubble, there's no crumblings, but the thing that makes Eleni sort of is, again, when you encountered that temple or space to Larixa, there was no dust, no footprints, no earthly disturb. Like, it was preserved. space, if that makes sense. This is giving you the same vibe.
Can I flick on another detect magic?
Yes.
Just cause. Just, you know. Do I see anything?
You don't see anything.
I mean, I would keep it on as we make our way back up the tunnel.
Yeah,
right?
and I'd say for Eleni, there's almost like static in the back of your brain, but there's no magic. There's no active magic happening. But it's like, and again, I'd say that you have encountered it a few times now, that sort of artifact god level magic is sometimes feels like this.
I mean, I'd get back up there and just say, looks like a dead end, guys. No doorway, no way through. Just runs out.
It does not seem, as Harkin would say, it does not seem like this corruption can burrow through the earth as such.
No, I think it's used other creatures to burrow, hasn't it? We've seen bullets corrupted, and we've seen. Yeah, I think it does seem to prefer living creatures rather than to do
But
its
also,
work.
it must have known not to go that way. That it was a dead end. Maybe it can sense.
Have I still got detect magic when we get to the top?
Mm-hmm.
Am I still getting that odd buzzing kind of static kind of that there's nothing?
Yeah.
So there's nothing different about the corridor than the space that we've been in, right?
No. And one of the scouts will say, something you said is interesting as well. We used magic to try and look for the corruption, the path it took. This did not show up at all. None of this, as the sort of motion now to the... And again, as Dante clears it, the room is not as big as it's appearing. It's still... But it is still a 20 by 80 space that is held up by marble just under the city. And that no one's ever detected. And not that far under the city either. Like, fair enough, you've had to sort of go through the walls of the catacombs, but you're not even, like, crucible level deep yet.
But maybe if the temple is protected somehow, think like, you know, like the necklaces or one of the bracelets that we've got. If there's some kind of anti-detection kind of magic on this place, you know, might stop people scrying or locating it.
It's possible, but it makes me think, what is this place? I think after we've cleared it, there's going to be more questions to be asked about this location. Shall we continue a bit further?
Why not?
As you're sort of moving forward, and it would actually be Ichi. You don't like, I'm not saying like full hand to pillar sort of thing, but as you're sort of moving forward and beginning to move next, you sort of hand gently on as you step through, and as you touch the pillar, there's almost like a shadowy version of yourself plays in reverse. You sort of look, and Harkin looks for a second, and you see that again one of the guards sort of touches, and it does just sort of show like a shadowy version of them moving backwards through the hall, and for only about 5 seconds before it disapparates.
That touching the wall or the corruption that does that?
No, there's pillars themselves under the corruption.
Themselves.
And as you sort of let go, there's a soft handprint that stays, like the fingertips and everything where you sort of touched. And it's, for Varlin, maybe something further, but...
Sorry, for who?
Sorry, for Ichi.
I had a real moment there of going, is Liam blending the timeline? Is this... No, wait a minute.
I don't know where that fucking came from.
It's because I just created an echo just happened to me. Thematically.
But yeah, so for Ichi, sorry. it's almost like a very rudimentary magic, like alert. Like if somebody came through here, like it's going to show that somebody sort of like brushed up against this.
Yeah, almost like the room has a memory.
Mm. But again, you are able to ruminate on that as you continue moving forwards.
Ichi's gonna like just pause for a moment with the shadow that kind of like just moved back for about 5 seconds. Ichi's gonna place their like full like hand against the wall, and it's just gonna close their eyes and kind of like try and, you know, when you walk into like ruins, you can feel the history kind of aspect, you know, that vibe of going in and being like, this has been here for ages. Ichi's gonna almost try and like let their like plant nature kind of like try and like let the roots kind of like start blending in with the rock and with the marble, and just try and kind of feel the history.
Yeah.
So you reach out and you extend the roots and you extend into the ground, and you start to feel in the same way that sometimes you can go to a space and sort of dig through the dirt and tell that the land hasn't been cared for, or, you know, you start to feel those sorts of things. And just as you're thinking, I'm not getting anything further, with your eyes closed, you do start to hear and sort of see faint lights. And for those that are looking at each from the outside, the sigil of his armor begins to softly glow like blue, in the same way that sometimes when he runs his hand over to cast spells. But there's no sigils magic, he's nothing spoken, but just a soft blue glow of his armor. And for Ichi, you open your eyes, but you actually don't. It's almost like you're in dream space. And you are stood in this same cavern, hand on the pillar, almost as you sort of... But what takes your attention and gets your eyes open is you hear like, almost like heels on stone. And as you turn, if you imagine, it's a very wispy, almost ethereal figure swoops past you, and there's like a brush of like cloth and fabrics that bristle the face, and you see flowing black hair and a female figure moving away rapidly, book in one hand and different like cuttings of what appear to be Zikar in the other.
He's just gonna try and pursue.
As you try and pursue, you see them moving over to a table, and as they're moving, and like, so for Ichi, if you imagine this doesn't, you know that this is only taking minutes, but it's almost like as they step, it's like walking shifted a year. Like it almost as they pass a pillar and come out the other side, they're slightly different now. The hair's slightly longer, there's a color streak, but you're almost as they move out of view and back into view, and somebody here researched for a long time. Interestingly, they don't change that much. Hair length changes, few scars here and there, bandages one time, not bandages the next time, but age-wise, not a lot of change.
Physical features about them?
So, for most of them, it's hazy. Again, almost like somebody trying to remember the features.
Yeah, like a picture that's not fully in focus.
And as the only time it gets clear, as the sort of, and in real time, we're coming to the end of maybe about a 1 minute, 2 minute wait. For Ichi, it feels like you've maybe been in this space 10, like you're sort of feeling like that sort of feeling. As it's sort of getting towards the end of this, and you can see the person's becoming more tired, more frustrated. There's one of the images is that like they cast the bowl of the Zikar, like, and it like obliterates against a wall across the side of the room. And right at the end, something happens out of view that you don't hear, but the person reacts to. And they turn quickly and have like the face goes from ready to fight to like fuck, and then the dream cuts. But that moment of fuck was like the face became clear for a second, and it almost Zikar blue piercing eyes, very sharp angular features, a pale skinned female seems to be, dark, almost obsidian black hair flowing. There may be 6 footish, slim but strong build, although that has deteriorated over the and literally as they turn, look and raise, everything cuts, and you find yourself back in the space.
Ichi, why were you glowing?
I saw someone. Ichi pulls out their notebook that they normally like jot down notes and sketches in, and Ichi's just going to start rudimentary drawing the image of this woman that they saw. Sharp features, piercing blue eyes. Someone was here a long time ago, for a long time, working with the Zikar crystal. But something came in that was too much and terrifying. Her instinct was to fight, but she knew she wouldn't win.
Did you see where it came from?
No. It was like I could see, I couldn't necessarily hear. It was all flashes of images and time passing very quickly.
What other entrances / exits are there from where we are now, Liam?
The only other exit than the one that goes down is again corrupted corridor that continues. Harkin would look and say, I can see the next room, but we could also take a break here. I will leave it up to yourselves. My men are still quite ready. He will look to Dante, who again has basically been consistently like for 3 hours
how is
straight.
Dante looking? Because he's probably just constantly doing stuff, right?
This is it. Dante's starting to look tired. He didn't really get the hours resting that you guys got, so he is coming to point, not points of exhaustion level, but
I was
like
going to say we're just sort of wandering around, but he's actually doing.
He's constantly cleaning and casting, so he is sweating a little bit, taking a drink of water. You can sort of see he's taken Ichi's sit down moment as like a chance to sit down, and Ichi's moment of thinking or whatever.
I don't know how I feel about stopping here. Maybe we could go back to a previous room. Volu, Ichi, what do you think? I don't know if I want to be this close to something infected while we rest.
If we went back to like the bigger room that we were just in, Liam, would that be the room that I followed the woman to?
Yeah. So this room, now that it's clear, does sort of just seem to be like a hallway. And to be clear, obviously, it's still a 20 wide by 80 long or whatever, so it's still a decent chunk. If you go back to the room that was like a mining researchy room, that's where she went to.
Yeah, because she came from in front of me and through behind. Okay. If we could go back to the previous room, I think I'd like to spend a little more time just trying to focus.
Makes sense to me. I think Dante probably does need some rest.
Dante, we're gonna head back.
All right. Yeah.
No, I'm fine.
That was a good impression.
It really was. It really was. For a brief minute, I was like, Huh?
Yeah. Harker will chirp in as well and say, why don't I station 3 of my men in this room? They can run back and alert us should it become a problem.
How many men have we got with us? Because I'm also thinking, should we send at least 2 people back to tell them that we're going to stop here for a bit? Because there are people back at the start, aren't they?
They were saying, well, so you've got 5 guards and you. They were saying we can do that. I was going to ask Volu if we are going to rest up anyway. Do you have the capability to sending, or I
Oh,
can
that's a
send
good
somebody?
idea. Yeah.
Do I?
Because obviously something that had been discussed in terms of if this does take longer is if in a pinch or when you're resting,
Yeah.
you might be able to do a sending.
Yeah, I've got a sending.
In which case, would you send to one of the priests who entered with us that we are setting up camp about 2 and a bit hours in? They sort of look to the scout to confirm, who still sort of is adding to a bit of a map that obviously, but they're almost having to wait until Dante clears the room to be sure that this is what the room looks like, and then like sketch it.
Yeah.
And then but yeah, you're about 2.5 hours, 3 hours down.
Yeah, I'll do that.
And you're gonna set up a short camp. Okay. And Ichi, I'd say that as you enter the room, and they start clearing things in order to set up tent space and bedrolls and stuff. You start to see, you would pick out a few things that almost, not confirming that you didn't believe it was a thing anyway, but almost confirm the reality of what you saw. As you sort of, when you walk in, you look out in over on the left, and there's still the fragments of wooden bowl and scattered zikar from the vision that you saw. There's still pieces and bits that you saw them using, and actually, you walk over to one of the broken areas, and there is an instrument on there that at first just looks. So if you imagine like what a sextant looks like with the sort of bit sticking out of it, and it almost so you'd put it on a map and sextant the right one?
Sextant.
That's the right one. Sextant for stars and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Where it's
For
got
navigation.
It's got like a bit of a scope through it, and it has the sort. It looks like that, but for Ichi, reason it was sort of discarded the first time you passed through is it looks like somebody's taken an actual sextant and twisted it into like a infinity sign, right? Like it's like that sort of mangle of metal that you just sort of dismissed it as nothing. But actually it was the exact same when you saw her use it in the vision. And the way she was using it wasn't like pointing it up as at a star. It was almost like she would look through the bit you would point at a star at gems, at zikar, at pieces of things she was working on, and the pieces seemed to move on their own. So it wasn't like something that she like held and twisted. She'd like bring up a piece of zikar and look at it, and stuff would click, and then she'd be like, "Fuck no," and you move on to. It was some sort of, not sure how it works. And for a Lenny who has done detect magic in a few of these rooms, doesn't read as magic. But for Ichi, obviously having seen it, she definitely used this instrument for something. If you want to take it, you can add a custom item of just lyrics and
sextant.
Lyrics and sextant.
Sextant, yeah.
Tongue twister galore.
And to be clear, Ichi, the later scene where she turned and was attacked or whatever, that wasn't in either of these rooms. That was in a space you didn't recognize. Haven't seen yet.
The sextant that she was using, that is the physical one that we have here. Does it look like the lens is broken?
No, actually, it looks in perfect nick. Like if it wasn't for the fact that it looks like a literal twisted, mangled piece of metal, it looked like, now that you've picked it up and brushed it off. It looks like a brand new piece of kit.
I'm gonna cast detect magic myself, but then I'm gonna look through the sextant with it.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna scan the room, scan where it seems that she like threw some crystals and they shattered, like see if it picks up. Because we know from like the infection and from a lot of like these crystals and everything that they're not necessarily magic that we're used to in terms of like the regular school. So perhaps this sextant can help identify or push further, because if it is Lyrixin in origin, maybe it came with her when she came through.
I really like the thinking. So first off, you detect magic. It definitely buzzes in the same way that the god's magic and artifacts do. But it isn't active. There's nothing, you can't see anything active on it. When you look through it, nothing happens. And for Ichi, what I'd say that Ichi, for you, it sort of identifies, rather than just like, oh, it's broken or whatever. If you imagine that, and I'm trying to think of it, if you imagine that all the bits on the sextant that would normally stick down into a map, like are folded together. When she was using it and it was like actively in use, they were like
sprawled out,
almost pointing in directions or whatever. So I think for now, Ichi, you would just identify that you don't know the activation word.
I don't know how this tool is used yet.
You think this is a magical item. You definitely get the inkling that it's on the god magic old tier level shit.
Yeah. You
need to figure out how to activate it or what's required. There's something there that, but definitely onto something about how it functions.
Okay.
I'm liking the technical term. Old god magic shit.
Old god magic shit.
Oh yeah. And here in this museum we have old god magic shit.
Look, in every D&D campaign ever, old god magic
shit.
Love it.
Get that on a t-shirt.
Tell me I'm wrong. Okay.
Yeah, it's a legendary item. What kind? Old god magic shit,
Okay. Bolu, you would be able to send off the sending. You would get a response just sort of saying, let us know if you need anything. We'll be replenished and ready for anything in the morning. And again, to be clear, if you come across something and you're like, I think an item might be useful, they cannot appear it to you, but you can record, like, you know what I mean? Like if you hit a wall and you're like, actually, I think we need to mind pick our way through this. You could go back to camp, rest, request some shit. It's not not a door closed kind of thing. No, and this is what they're expecting. This is supposed to be a multi-day expedition, taking your time, being safe, just looking into stuff, and if you need anything, holler.
And not dying.
And not dying.
Yeah.
Is there anything else anybody would like to do before you sort of bed down to a long rest?
Again, probably I would suggest that we put an alarm in the room where the infection is, or sort of near that, in between the guards and where that is, right? So again, I know that they're watching, but just in case.
Yeah, Dante has cleared it back to just being in the corridor, so you could put a 20-foot box in front of that corridor.
Yeah.
Anything from either of the other two? Any spells you want to burn before you sleep?
Guiding bolt.
We slaughter the 5 guards that are with us.
Yeah. Okay, in which case, as you bed down, you can all check the long rest button, so we're prepped for next time, but that is where we will call the end of part 2. Hope you've enjoyed your first delves into the Corrupted Caverns. Thank you very much for playing. As always, thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed and want to find out what happens next, hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you know when the videos are coming out. And as always, roll well. Bye.